Yo, I know it's been a couple weeks. I just got really lazy. Not really any good excuses. But nothing really special happened. So I'm just gonna call this week 5 or whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna start with finances or the financial side of everything. This is what my first account looks like. I've been trading with this account for 2 years now, I think. I started with $1,700 and 93 cents, I think, and all of it was funded by Beermoney. So it's pretty much free money since I do Beermoney while I watch and watch anime and like play games and all that, and it's not really it doesn't really take that much attention away from it. But anyways, I haven't put any money into it. I've just traded from $1,000 to $5,000, which is where it's at now. I've peaked at like 6,600 and something bucks. I don't remember. But I am down a couple. I am down a bit. But this week has been, I don't know, it's been kind of weird. I've been dealing with a little stress lately, just life and all that. So a lot of my trades have been a lot worse than they should be. And like the stress has kind of been clouding my judgment on whether I should go on to a trade or not. And if you know a little bit about trading, it is a very psychological game a lot of the time. And obviously, it's not guaranteed to make profit, but it's a probability game. You use the amount of data that you have to make a more fair judgment, and hopefully that judgment is correct. And so far, it's been alright. Anyways, I'm down a little bit. I held a stock that I thought was going to go up, and it did go up. I just got really impatient from all the stress, and I sold a little early, and then I lost money when I could have profited 30 or 40 bucks, which isn't a lot, but it's better than losing 80 bucks, right? But yeah, that's pretty much how that account's going. I should be okay now. I don't know. I've dealt with the stress, so I should be making a lot better trades. On a second note, I paused the other account that I was trading with, which is what I was like funding with Beermoney as well, but the difference is I fund it with like 40 bucks every month, which is from all the cashouts that I do from Beermoney. I decided to pause that because I bought a new phone, which is what I'm using to record now. But I got a bundle for a Pixel 8 Pro. It comes with a free Pixel 2 watch, which is like 300 bucks market price, and like a free case. I don't know why the cases are so expensive on Google. They're like 35 bucks. And I got the case for free, which is pretty nice. But like 35 bucks for a case is insane. It's not even like the best type of case, right? But case is better than nothing. Or free is better than nothing, I guess. Anyways, the whole bundle costed 649 bucks. The phone was like 40 something % off, so I saved like 700 and something bucks, which was a pretty nice deal. But I'm paying for the phone every month, since I have the Synchronicity card, I believe it's called, which lets me refinance the phone. So I'm paying 18 bucks and 4 cents a month. I don't remember the calculations, but I have it on auto pay. But the reason why I'm paying the minimum instead of the full price is because it's at 0% APY, which is 0% interest. So I'm not paying any more than I would need to if you're paying for a minimum, which is the difference from like regular credit cards. But the reason why is because I feel like I can make more money just saving that amount of money since there's no repercussions for me. And using that money, or the difference that I don't use to pay for full, to make more money than not make more money, If that even makes sense. But anyways, I decided to pause the second account to do another account where I funded that money with the amount that the phone costs, which is 649 bucks. I am going to pay, instead of 18 bucks a month, I'm going to pay 24 bucks, which is way higher. The reason for that is I'm going to apply tax to it, because you have to pay tax on income, or any income that's over 400 bucks total for your income. And I'm doing it at a 30% rate instead of a 13.5% rate, which should be self-employment rate, especially for only making so little. But I'm just doing that to make the challenge a little harder, just because I feel fairly confident that I could easily make 600 and something bucks within a year or two, or even 3 years. Hopefully I don't make any dumb decisions and lose all my money. But even if I do, it's kind of whatever, I guess. But I thought it was a fun challenge to do. But every month. The goal is to make $24 at minimum. And I'll be taking $24 out of the account. I rounded all these up just to make it a little harder as well. But I'll be taking $24 out of the account every month. And whatever is left in there, I keep trading with it, and hopefully I make. The total should be $849, I think, which is the goal. I'll just show the week by week, just like I did, with just small clips of like how my trades are going. I'm not going to talk about what stocks I trade. I don't want to influence people with whatever stocks I trade. I trade very risky ones at times, just because I'm just used to trading a lot of risky ones. Which is kind of dumb of me, but it is what it is. I don't want to influence people who don't really have experience in trading and do that, and then they lose a lot of money, and then they come back, and I'll be partially responsible for that just because I influenced it. But anyways, this week for the account's been not bad. I haven't lost any money from it. It's been pretty good. 40. I think I'm like $44 in profit, which is, almost double the amount that I need to make for that month. But anyways, that's enough of the trading talk. I'm still making Beermoney. These are a couple of the receipts that I cashed out for. And I do cash out logs every 2 weeks, or like every half of the month, and then the end of the month I should be doing like a cash out log where I show all the receipts of the cash outs that I made and the total. And I also have like a monthly page on my blog if anyone's interested to see like where I cashed out from, and I also have like the trading like progress that I have just on like a monthly basis and all that. And of course, I have all the reviews for all the apps that I use, including new ones that I'll be trying out and all that. And I'm trying a couple new ones this month as well, and hopefully make some reviews on that. But I don't really know if there's anything else to talk about in Beermoney. I usually, it's not gonna replace an income or anything, but over the recent years, I've kind of been a little more introverted, and that's just my fault for not going out very much. And when I don't talk to a lot of people frequently, I start to become more introverted. But just as I am now, I usually watch anime and play video games while I do Beermoney. It's just a nice, fun thing to do, and I went through like a lot of years of my life just doing this thing, but like not doing Beermoney, and like ever since I kind of realized that, I felt like I was wasting my life, and then I started adding Beermoney and like learning languages on top of that, and it doesn't fix the problem, but it does make it a little better. It's better than nothing, I guess. Makes me feel like I'm progressing and like I'm still making money. It's not gonna be enough money to replace the job or anything, and obviously it's better to get a job, but these markets these days are kind of rough. But this is better than nothing. And I do fund a lot of things with Beermoney, and it's taken me very far. With Beermoney, as you can see, I've put it into trading, and I started to learn how to trade. And I don't recommend trading; it's very stressful. I had a lot of sleepless nights when I was learning, and I lost thousands of dollars because I learned by myself, and I don't want to teach people that. I don't want people to go through that as well. But anyways, let's move on to the languages. We'll start with Mandarin. I passed Bronze 5, which is pretty nice. Bronze 5 was pretty easy. Bronze 5 is just pretty much all of like Bronze, essentially. It's almost like a review, which is kind of weird for it. I don't know. I'll probably change it around for the criteria for Bronze 5. But this is just a short clip of me talking.
你好，我叫 Andy， 很高兴认识你。我今天有一点累，但是我很高兴。我和朋友去了看电影看电影。你呢？你今天怎么样？
And that was Bronze 5 Japanese complete. I'm still struggling to, at least it feels like I'm struggling to like speak Mandarin clearly. I have like this weird mental block in my head. I think it's from all the bullying that I got and like people making fun of me and my language and stuff. And it made me like really not confident in speaking Chinese, and I started to actually hate speaking Chinese. I just felt like it was just a bad language, and I don't know. Still trying to get over that hump. And it's, I don't know. It's been a hinder, but hopefully I'll get over it soon. And I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'll be moving on to my promos. Just be like 3 tests. It's probably gonna be like scenarios that I have to talk through and like conversations and like recalling certain words and all that. But I don't know. We'll see what ChatGPT gives me for tests, and see if it determines whether I know bronze well enough. I should. But anyways, let's move on to Japanese. Japanese is in the same boat. Not speaking wise, but I guess my pronunciations are still bad. But I also passed bronze 5 Japanese. Just another short clip of me speaking.
こんにちは、アンディです。はじめまして。今日ちょっと悲しいです。でも大丈夫です。今日お店に行ったり、レストランで晩ご飯を食べたり、友達と遊んだりしました。そちは、今日は何をしましたか?
Alright, and that was bronze 5 Japanese. It was pretty smooth this week, just like Mandarin. And I've already been learning Chinese and or Mandarin and Japanese for about a year before I swapped into my system. I just wanted to swap because it just felt better to be able to see my progress and stuff. And every rank has like a certain thing or a certain amount of things that you need to learn and stuff. And just being able to visually see that feels more rewarding, I guess. And it makes me feel like I'm actually progressing rather than like not knowing if I'm actually getting better or not. But anyways, I'll be moving on to the promos as well. Just gonna be a bunch of tests, whatever ChatGPT throws at me. Something that I do struggle with Japanese on is it's definitely making more difficult sentences. There's just a lot of like small particles that are present in certain sentences, and like the tough thing about Japanese is it's not. I personally don't think it's the hardest language that I'm learning. I think people think it's harder than it is. And sure, there's like multiple levels to it, but that's kind of dying out with like Western influence and all that. And, well, not really, but I don't know. I'm not getting into that. But just making like a harder grammatic sentences is something I struggle on. But I'll get better, and it's just a work in progress. Anyways, let's move on to Spanish. Spanish was pretty smooth, I think. I still get a couple words mixed up and stuff, and like it's just on me for not doing my due diligence for like looking at why we use certain words rather than another word and stuff, and like my word choices. And I don't remember what ChatGPT said. I'm pretty sure it said it still passed me on passing bronze, like all of bronze to move on to silver. And I think it said that my biggest hurdle was just the set or the word choices that I did, but it still passed me. So like I don't know, I'll take it. But this is just a clip of me talking. I talk about like just a self introduction and like pretty much everything that I learned in Bronze 5 throughout the like 6 weeks that I was in this rank for.
Hola, me llamo Andy. Soy de los Estados Unidos. Tengo 27 años. Estoy aprendiendo español. Cuando tengo tiempo, me gusta tocar el piano y jugar los videojuegos. Hoy hace sol y mucho calor, pero más tarde voy a caminar con mi amigo en el parque. Luego necesito comprar cosas en la tienda, porque mañana necesito hacer el almuerzo. Cuando estoy en un lugar nuevo, puedo decir, disculpe, ¿puede ayudarme? ¿Dónde está este hotel? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Puedo pagar con tarjeta?
Alright, I'm not really looking forward to doing silver. The requirements for this week, or what I'm going to be working on this week before I take my tests, is more on just conversations and describing scenarios, making more plans and stuff into the future. The biggest hurdle that I'm worried about in Spanish is probably the past tense. I always struggled with it. And once again, I did learn Spanish for like a year before I swapped into my my system, and like past tense was pretty much what I was stuck on. So I'm pretty much where I was in the year that I learned Spanish. I'm not looking forward to it. I just can't seem to memorize the conjugations and like which conjugations we use, and I just feel like it's kind of weird to have 3 different past tenses or whatever. But I'll get into that whenever I get into it. But I'll probably be stuck in this rank for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'll probably fail a couple tests, but we'll see. But moving on to the next language, German. And oh boy, I think German's the most difficult language for me. I don't know. Like, I definitely feel like German is probably more difficult than Japanese. Just because there's just so much to have to. I don't know. It just feels like there's so much brain power that you have to put into it. Like, German has 3 different genders. You have the 2 basic ones, feminine words or feminine nouns or masculine nouns, and then you have the 3rd one, which is neutral nouns. And I already have enough trouble memorizing those, but for some reason German just doesn't make sense on it doesn't feel like there's a clear pattern on discerning whether something is neutral, masculine, or like feminine. Like obviously the ones that are feminine and like non-feminine or masculine would be like talking about like males or females and stuff, and those obviously would be feminine or masculine and all that. But like compared to like Spanish, it doesn't feel. I don't know. There's just some missing piece. I just feel like there's so many rules to determine whether something is masculine or not. And then you have these 3 things that I'm working on this week. I decided not to take my test. This is about the 3rd week that I've been stuck on this rank. I failed the 3 other tests that I tried doing. So I decided to work on the cases, and that's what I'm stuck on right now. And that's what I was stuck on in German before. And the 3 cases are nominative, accusative, and like dative or dative or whatever. I don't know. Pronunciations are terrible, but these determine how the articles change. And there's like a lot of articles in German that change due to these cases and stuff. Like you have the most basic ones, which is der, die, and das, and then those change into like dem, den, and like die or da or whatever. Or some say the same. I don't know. You just have to memorize them, and it just feels like it almost triples the amount that you have to memorize. And then there's like, and those are like in English if you were to compare it. And then there's like and like an, which is ein and eine. Those also conjugate, and then there's the pronoun ones like either and like ear or whatever. And then the adjectives also change in the back or whatever when they follow articles or nouns or whatever. I don't remember. But I'm working through it. I just think it's the dumbest thing. I think it's just such a dumb rule. It's almost like it almost reminds me of like a company who makes a campaign or a story mode, and you have to pay like $60 full price, and the campaign's like 3 hours long. But then they decide to not put fast travel, or they just put a bunch of obstacles and a bunch of walking to pad out the time of the game so they can call the game like an 8-hour campaign game for $60 or something. And they add an extra difficulty and stuff for no reason. And it's oh, we're just adding this to make the game more difficult because we can and stuff. And that's what German feels like. It's they just pad out a game and make it more difficult for no reason. No offense to anyone who likes learning German or actually enjoys German language. I don't know. I just don't like it. I think it's dumb. But anyways, I don't really have a clip for it. I just whatever. Moving on to French. I don't know how I'm passing French. I'm just somehow passing it. French still feels like that one language or that one thing where you're given resources to study, and every week, right? And then you learn it and you study it, and then you take the tests, and you're I don't understand any of this, and you kind of just guess through it, and you still pass the test somehow. And it's not a multiple choice test or anything, but you just somehow pass the test, and it's I don't know how, but I'll take it, right? That's how French feels like to me. I don't know why. I don't know why that language isn't clicking with me. I also don't like the pronunciations in French. Half the words just feel like half the words are just silent. It's why even have these letters? Why even write these letters down when half the word is almost silent, And then more natural, people who are native French speakers, you're obviously slurring words together. And there's also the one where I don't know what it's called, but it sounds like a Z when you have like a word ending in S, and then you have the next word following it start with a vowel or an H, and you just connect that with like a Z or whatever. I still suck at pronunciation, but like, I don't like that. But I passed all bronze, moving on to silver. Here's another clip of me speaking. It's the same thing as Spanish. It's just a self introduction and like basically everything that I've learned in French for this for all of bronze and stuff.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Andy, je viens des États-Unis, j'étudie fond, j'ai 27 ans, in mon temps libre, j'aime jouer du piano et jouer vidéo. Aujourd'hui, il fait mauvais et chaud. Je vais à magasin avec mon ami parce que demain je vais à un pique-nique, où les légumes et le poulet et le fromage. Combien ça coûte? Je veux assez de thé.
Alright, now I know that one was a little shorter than Spanish. I just struggle with French, okay? Like, I just didn't know what to say. And obviously, I forgot to say this when I was talking about Spanish, but I didn't cover, like, every single thing that I learned. Like, there's way more that I learned. If you're curious, you can feel free to check out my, weekly, progress on all of this, and I have all my notes and my tests and stuff, and you can see where I messed up and whatever. But I obviously learned more than what I said. I just wanted to make it as short as I could. But moving on to Arabic, Arabic's been a bit of a struggle. I should have done this from the beginning. I didn't do my due diligence just like German. Now it's coming back to bite me. But I was learning Arabic in, I think it's called MSA or MSN or something, where it's like the most formal version of Arabic, and it's like what you would hear in the news and stuff. And like people just don't say that in like regular speech in Arabic, and like regular speech of Arabic is called Levantine, I think. So I'm gonna be spending this week and like probably next week, and I'm probably gonna miss a weekly update on my Arabic, just because of this. But I need to convert all my notes into Levantine. So I need to relearn a lot of the things from the past 2 or 3 weeks that I've been studying Arabic for, to be all converted into Levantine. And some of the words in MSA or whatever it's called, the most formal version of Arabic, I forgot the name of it, is similar or the same as Levantine, but we'll see. I'm gonna have to relearn all of that. But overall, Arabic's been a struggle. I'll get through it. Hopefully. I don't really have anyone to practice Arabic with, so it's been a little rough. But that's pretty much all the updates that I have on my languages and stuff. Just on a quick side note, I am improving the way that I study, especially compared to like the first couple of weeks that I showed you how I kind of study languages and stuff. And I'll be updating my my language weekly blog pages with that stuff and stuff. But I should be learning more stronger or better or whatever. But on a quick side note as well, another side note, I've also been working on I've added like a grammar page to my weekly progress for languages and stuff. On my blog, it'll be under the language stuff. I think it's called grammar as well, but it'll be all under all the languages and stuff. I only have Japanese so far. I've got like 13 pages written up, but I have them all in order where how I'd recommend learning Japanese, like which grammar things you should learn in Japanese, and there's a lot of grammar rules in Japanese. And if you're curious and want to learn Japanese, I'd highly recommend. I highly recommend learning the grammar. It doesn't even have to be from my page or anything, but I would highly recommend learning the grammar before you actually learn Japanese, or at least just like learn the grammar while you're learning Japanese. It just makes it a lot easier, just because, in my opinion, I feel like Japanese is very pattern oriented, and there's a lot of like conjugations and like rules and stuff, and it's just gonna make it a lot easier, right? Like whenever I remember learning Japanese, and then like I learned the grammar and everything just clicked. And I assume that it's just gonna be easier if you learn the grammar or anything, but in my pages, I'm not an expert. I tried to make everything as understandable as possible. It should be pretty easy to learn. All of it's in Romaji, which is the Romanized letters for Japanese. So, even if you don't want to learn like hiragana or katakana or whatever, you'll be able to read everything and like learn everything. Just because I have it in Romaji, I can't even read Japanese. Like, I don't plan to either. But I explain everything. I've got a lot of examples and stuff. I show you how to conjugate things. And there's a bunch of examples and all that. But if you're interested, feel free to check it out. But that's pretty much all that I have for this week. I'm working through a lot of things. School's coming up. I just have a lot of things that are stressing me out and stuff. And the stress has just not been great for me, especially for the trading. I've lost a lot of trades, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, that's pretty much all for this week. Hope you take care.